A 2011 study from the CDC found that nearly half of Americans reported experiencing lifetime emotional abuse from a partner. Now that's not because we just have millions of narcissists running around. Narcissists make up around 5% of the population. The truth of the matter is, people are just naturally manipulative. There's nothing wrong with that. We all see the world from our own perspective, and a lot of the times we don't even know when we're hurting or manipulating someone else. And well, the fact is, it does hurt, and I don't want to just sit here, crying about, oh, this girl was so evil, she would manipulate me, blah, blah, blah. That's corny. What I want to do is I want to make a tier list ranking the most manipulative, toxic behaviors that a person can do. S tier being, the most painful, effective form, and then F tier being something that, doesn't really hurt your feelings that much, nor does it work that well. The first manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is deflection. Now, deflection is a defense mechanism used to divert the conversation away from the issue at hand. Like, for example, maybe, your girlfriend isn't responding to your text for hours, leaving you undelivered for a long time, and, this kind of pisses you off, so you call her up and you tell her, yo, you're really, hurting my feelings by not responding to any of my texts. Like, do you just not care about me anymore? And then instead of answering the question, she goes, well, maybe if you didn't cheat on me 3 months ago, blah, 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 and now you gotta deal with this whole issue. And yeah, you might be in the wrong for cheating, but the fact of the matter is, that's not the issue at hand. The issue at hand is, she's not responding to your funny memes. And now you're in the hot seat, and after you're done defending yourself for cheating or whatever you did, and you go back to the initial question, bang, there's just going to be another form of deflection. It's going to be, oh, well, maybe I would respond if you took me out more. And then you got to explain that you lost all your money gambling, and that's why you can't take her out. And this just goes on in circles forever. I've argued with girlfriends for hours, without ever actually arguing the point that I wanted to bring up, because there's just always something else. Well, this can be a very painful manipulation tactic. Now, obviously, the example I brought up makes me seem like a bad guy, but that doesn't take away from the actual manipulation itself. Like, it really is painful to just not be able to question someone about something that they're doing wrong or have a conversation about it. Maybe you're both in the wrong, but you just want to have a healthy conversation, but you can never achieve this if they keep deflecting away from what's bothering you at the moment. And once this manipulation tactic is used over and over again, at some point you kind of just stop bringing up issues you're having in the relationship, because you know that it's just going to get deflected onto things that you're doing wrong in the relationship, and you just come to the realization that there's no point of even trying to have conversations about how to help this relationship, and it's not fun. And overall, this is a pretty effective form of manipulation, because once you're on your back foot trying to defend yourself for stuff that you did wrong, it's very difficult to actually get through to them to try to have a conversation with an issue you're having in the relationship. So I'm going to give this B tier. The next manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is projection. Now, this is when someone attributes their own misfortunes or mistakes onto others. Like, for example, maybe you're cheating on your girlfriend and you're constantly looking through her phone, accusing her of cheating, because, well, you're the one doing it, and you think that since you're doing it, she has to be doing it. Or maybe, you have really low self-esteem, you look bad upon yourself, so you start criticizing your girlfriend about all these things that she's doing wrong. Well, in fact, you just feel this way about yourself. Projection is very ineffective for manipulating someone, controlling them to behave or think a certain way. In fact, it kind of just does the opposite, because, if you're projecting onto someone that they're cheating or whatever, when you're the one cheating, they're just going to think that, like, oh, this dude's definitely cheating on me. Why does he keep thinking that I'm cheating when I'm doing nothing wrong? It really doesn't work at all to manipulate, but it is painful and it is hurtful. Like, it's going to hurt your feelings to be constantly accused of cheating when you're doing nothing wrong, or to be just put down all the time just because, the person projecting has low self-esteem. But, it's also not the worst pain in the world compared to other manipulation tactics. Like, you do kind of just think, alright, well, this person's crazy, like, I don't really care that much. So, overall, I'm going to have to give this D tier. The next manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is silent treatment, and I've been on the receiving end of this many of times in one of my last relationships, and oh my god, does it get me mad. I got a vein popping out of my forehead just thinking about it. The silent treatment is exactly what it sounds like. It's basically when they just shut off and don't say anything when you're having an issue, and this has affected me so many times. There is this girl where I would try to talk to her. I would sit down with her. I would get all serious. I'd be emotionally vulnerable. I would try to discuss a relationship and a problem I'm having, and just giving her everything that I feel. Just trying to get an answer. And this dumb bitch is just sitting there with a poop face on, staring at me, not saying a single word. It makes me so mad. Like, there's nothing you can do if the girl's not talking. You can't solve any issues or you can't learn anything if she's just not talking. Your only option is just to give it up, like just give up what you were saying so she just stops with the poop face. And this is just the most annoying thing of all time. Like it literally makes me want to cut off my dick so I just don't have to deal with relationships anymore. Silent treatment is quite effective and annoying, as there's not much you can do if shawty just doesn't talk to you. Maybe she hangs up on you and blocks you, and also it might make you think that, maybe you're in the wrong, maybe what you're bringing up is so preposterous and offensive that that's the reason she's not responding. So, it can be quite effective. I'm gonna have to give it A tier. The next manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is when someone threatens you somehow. And this can be done in a lot of ways. Sometimes you'll just be arguing with a girl and she'll threaten to break up with you, saying like, oh, well, if we're having these issues, why don't we just break up? Causing you to drop it. Or maybe you're trying to break up with a girl and she threatens to kill herself. I've had a girl cut herself on FaceTime when I tried to break up with her. Or maybe they know that, you know that they're not going to kill themselves, so they start threatening to like tell your parents of bad stuff that you did if you break up with them. Like, threats can be quite effective and painful. But the thing is, after a while of these threats, you kind of just realize that they're empty threats. You realize, shawty's probably going to not actually kill herself over you, or she's probably not going to actually just break up with you with an argument you're trying to have. So, as effective as they can be, they kind of lose their power, after you overuse this manipulation tactic. So, I'm going to have to put threats into C tier. The next manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is gaslighting. Now, gaslighting is when you make someone question the validity of their own thoughts or beliefs, and gaslighting is a very overused term in today's day and age. Like, most of the times, a girl tries to accuse me of gaslighting, I usually just laugh at her and call her crazy. But the truth is, gaslighting is quite real, very effective, and extremely painful. Gaslighting is the only thing that will have you up at 3 a.m. watching YouTube videos on how to fix your trust issues. Meanwhile, your girlfriend's out at 3 a.m. getting fucked by the local Chipotle worker. Like, there's something just so indescribably frustrating about not knowing if you're going crazy or if your significant other is just lying to your face. This can be really effective as it makes you focus on what's wrong with you and how you can fix yourself instead of, looking at maybe what your significant other is doing wrong and how you can fix that. And this is what also makes it so painful, as it really just messes with your mind, not knowing if you're crazy or if, your significant other is just lying to you. It's a very, very painful and effective form of manipulation, and for that, I'm going to have to give it S tier. The next manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is love bombing, and this is when a significant other showers you with tons of affection and love. Now, love bombing I have very mixed opinions on because, while you're getting love bombed, it's the best feeling in the world. Like, shawty really out here looking at me with them eyes that I'm her prince and I'm the greatest thing in the entire world, giving me great sex, free gifts, and laughing at all my bad jokes. Like, it hits. However, once they cut off this love, it can be quite painful. You're constantly chasing that high of how you once felt with them. You wonder what you're doing wrong, and you're willing to do anything for them just to get back to how you guys once were. And I guess that's really the whole point of love bombing. And even though it's pretty painful, I feel like it's better to have loved and lost than to never loved at all. Even though the love was never actually real, it certainly feels real. And if you're gonna go through a toxic, manipulative relationship, I'd recommend one with love bombing, because at least you get some good sex and free gifts out of it. So love bombing can be quite painful and very effective, but because it's also quite fun when you're getting love bombed, I'm going to have to only put this into C tier. The next manipulation tactic I'd like to take a look at is guilt tripping. And guilt tripping is when someone tries to evoke guilt into you to try to get you to do something that they want. An example of this is if someone tells you something like, well, if you love me, you would take me out or buy me this. And for me, this was never very effective or damaging to my mental health. Like, it's always just kind of absurd to me. Like, what do you mean, if you love me, I would buy you a kitty? Like, no. In my experience, guilt tripping is a pretty mid manipulation tactic. Maybe I've just never been properly guilt tripped, but for me, I'm gonna have to put this into D tier. And there it is, doggies, the definitive manipulation tactic tier list. For all y'all watching this video going through some form of manipulation, I just want y'all to know that you're not alone and it gets better. And also, it's important to understand, just because someone might be manipulative, it doesn't make them an evil person. It's easy to think like, oh my god, this person's gaslighting me, they must be a toxic narcissist, but the truth is, most people that manipulate each other don't even understand that they're doing it. They're just raised that way, or for them it's a defense mechanism. It's very rare for someone to actually just be an evil person. So it's important to understand that if you're in a relationship where you feel like you're getting manipulated, your partner might not be doing this in a malicious way. You shouldn't come at them like they're a villain. You should try to have a healthy conversation with them, telling them how this makes you feel and how you want to fix it. And if you guys can't fix it, then you gotta just break up. And even still, that doesn't make them evil. As I said before, only like 5% of people are narcissists, and half of the people out there will tell you that they had a toxic, narcissistic ex, and that's just not true. The truth is, we all just don't completely understand each other, and we all need to work on communication, and if not, that just means that wasn't the right fit for you. So, I hope all y'all get a better understanding from this video. I hope you guys had some laughs. I hope you enjoyed, and as always, peace out, dogs.